Welcome to Pair Programming with Sean, or whatever I end up calling this. I've always wanted to do some programming YouTube. I think it'd be fun to show off and just work with people and show the projects I'm working on and just sort of how I work. I've thought about making tutorials and whatnot, but I feel like that's much less my speed and significantly more front work. So I figured this could be a good fun. Yeah, I've got the stats of stuff I use here, my hardware, my profile, etc., etc. So today I figured I'd add a new method to my game engine Tailor. Tailor's written in C++, it uses embedded Ruby for scripting, and yeah, you can check it out on the link below, tailormadetech.dev, and yeah, let's get into it. Hopefully all of this is set up and coming through. I think it's all good. So the method I want to add is actually from raylib.h. I want to add color tint. So I actually am working through some example projects, and this is something I actually wanted. I just wanted to be able to darken or lighten a color, essentially. So this takes a color and gets passed another color to tint it with. So pretty basic, really good for like shadows and whatnot, where you don't want just darkness. Color theory says you probably want some other color like purple or brown or reds or whatever, just to make it pop a bit more nice. I've got my cup of tea, keep me going. So we're going to introduce this into our color CPP class. This is going to be fairly high level. I'll try to break stuff down. Oh, I haven't done my const change here yet, so we will do that. Yeah, no, it doesn't like that. So that's fine. The CPP linter will get mad at me and fix that later. But the first thing we actually want to do is I try to do test-driven development here. So if we go test color test, we can just create a new color test. We are going to do tint, and I do tint bang to imply that this color is being tinted. So it's not returning a color, it is that color tinted, if that makes sense. So you'll see when I write the test. So what we want to do is we want to set up this Tailor raylib mocklib call thing is horrendous. Basically, I realized I was testing raylib as well. So what I've done is I've written my own header file that compiles my own C++ code that just takes in the calls and just basically logs them. So you can check what was called instead of calling the actual raylib integration itself. This means my tests actually run insanely fast. As you can see, 14.66 milliseconds for 239 tests. So pretty decent speed. This was taking well over a minute and a half, something like that, before I did this change. So it's pretty huge. It was a fair bit of work, but I feel like it's really paid off. Like we can look at the raylib CPP. Is this what I wanted? Yeah, so this is where I've done all the mocking. Yeah, the editor likes to show silly stuff because it's detected I've not got mock raylib set when I launched my editor or ran my bear command. I forget how it works exactly, but yeah, this is just a pretty big mess of making strings from different values and whatnot. It's a bit horrendous, so we won't really spend time in there, but we want to return it, and we will return a fake color, which we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Why not? Doesn't have to be a particularly real color. We will have a color of 0, 0, 0 to start with. When we tint the color, we tint it with a secondary color. So we just do color 1, 2, 3, 4. This is some nice shorthand I have in Tailor for just anything really quick objects. It's also on vector and rectangle and stuff. I'm editing in Vim. That's always just my preferred. Gosh, how do I... My fade here, hang on. What did my fade do? Did I actually just implement fade? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So we will update our values, yes. We will have the updated values from... Yeah, okay, yeah. My brain's kicking into gear. So this is what's actually returned. So let's not have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's crap. Hang on. Let's do this. Because it doesn't matter what we're passing in and passing out. Oh, it does kind of. So, I'm not explaining myself well here. We have 3 colors that we need to keep in our brain. We have the first color here, which is our original value. So we'll set this to 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the color we pass in, which we'll set to 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll have the color that gets returned, which will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. No, that's not a good number. Let's do 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have all unique values to make sure what's passed in and where is really obvious and our test actually works. So our color will have been, whoops, tinted, not faded. And this will be 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you can see that it's really testing what's happening here. We want to color tint, I think was the actual thing. Yeah, color tint. Takes a color and it will receive 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. We will also have the tint. Come on, fingers. I don't know why I am so cursed today. There we go. Oh. And this will be called tint. So the reason it's called that is because of these. So it's got the color variable and the tint variable. So that's why they're called color and tint. And this will be, that's for control A, ... And yeah, when called with different object. So let's call tint with vector 2, 0, 0. We raise... come on. Oh, I'm pressing... Yeah. I don't know how helpful this key overlay thing is. It seems to not be clearing out particularly frequently because I type a lot, but that's okay. What do we want to call this? Let's just say must be called with color. And we don't really care about anything else. That's sort of the only error we can have here, because you can't init invalid colors, so it should be fine. Cool, so we have our test. Oops, wrong keyboard shortcut. There we go. So we have a failure. It's trying to call things that don't exist, and it has a mock left behind. We left fade behind? Oh, I didn't update this. There we go. Excellent. So here... Oh, that's something we might need to do. Generate mock raylib. I think we need to do something in here. Yeah, we'll need to do something in here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. If we have a look at the call signature of this again... Okay, it does return. Okay. Oh, so image color tint. Hang on. Ah, okay. So what I was expecting there is because the image is passed in as a pointer here and this is a void return, it means it actually tints the color in place. Here, color tint is... Oops. There it is actually returning a new color, which is a combination of the two colors. So it's not editing in place. Do I want to mimic that? Yeah, maybe we won't make it a bang. Let's mimic that. I think that's actually quite nice. So, remove that. Yeah, X. Oh. X, X. Ooh. X. There we go. Save that up. What do we got now? Oh, which means we need to get the result. When we return color, we have our new color is the result of the tint. Result. There we go. Yeah, that seems reasonable. We need to, so this is sort of where it gets a bit hacky. This thing needs, gosh, do I not have any, I don't have any color methods in here. Okay, that's interesting. Color tint, American spelling, this does return. Oh, that is already alphabetical. I got it correct accidentally. So this Ruby file here actually is what goes and builds my my mocked out Raylib implementation. So if the method isn't listed in here, it won't try and build it. The reason I did this is because there's a lot of functions I don't support yet, and supporting every single function off the bat was actually going to be a pretty major workload. So I decided just to do this. And it seems to have worked quite well. It's sped up the testing. It does everything I need it to do, and it's so much more reliable now. So it's really good. I'm really happy with that. So we have our test, we have our mock implementation. We can actually create a new method. So let's do this. And instead of fade, we have tint. So here we're defining the actual method within embedded Ruby. This is how it knows what to do. If we just go and steal this fade. Oh, okay, that's how I've done it. I like this. Okay. Ah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So, we look up here, we have percent. We have fade bang, but we also have regular fade. Ah, that's really interesting. Raylib receives. Yeah. Okay, we have not updated our original values. That's what I was thinking of doing. Sweet. Okay, okay, okay. I almost did this, but decided against it. 2, 3, 4. Excellent. So let's duplicate this and actually create a tint bang. And the tint bang will be implemented in Ruby rather than in C++ because it just doesn't have to be. And I try not to cross that barrier too often. I think there's a performance penalty. I haven't benchmarked it, but I tend to prefer sticking in natively in Ruby if I can, and only calling out when I have to. So we'll do the exact same test here. We won't call result. We will call bang. Result is equal. Yeah, so now color. We have updated our values. Yeah, we receive the exact same tint, and when we call it, it also explodes. Excellent. Okay, so now we have our two tests, which are both failing. All right. So the reason it's not running the rest, all right, it's in test now. Yep. Sorry, that was my old setup. We actually just raise an error if there are mocks, so it doesn't continue the test suite. I'm using NeoSpec for my test suite, which is a testing framework I built just because I wanted something nicer than the testing library, which was very Minitest inspired, that works in embedded Ruby. I wanted something that would work in both Ruby and embedded Ruby. So I invented NeoSpec, and it works quite well. I'm pretty pleased with it. It's very modular. It's been built out of my pet peeves of working with RSpec at my job, where we have a pretty massive test suite and it has lots of flakes. Well, it gets flakes. We tend to pretty aggressively stomp them out. So we've gotten pretty good at that. But yeah, it's built up a lot of opinions about how test suites should work within me. But yeah, so that's how this is all working. We now need to actually go and implement. Yeah, so fade tint. What do we have here? We need to get the argument. The argument is going to be a data object. I must do that up here somewhere. what am I thinking of? MRB get args float. Oh, okay, we don't do that anywhere here. I always forget the syntax for this off the top of my head, and it's been a while since I've actually worked on it. Okay, it is D. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Oh, I haven't updated. Okay, we're actually going to go through and update this method as well. This file, because I've been doing some nicer stuff. If you see here, I have this MRB get self, which is a helper. I think it's a macro. Yeah, it's a macro, which does all of this guff for you, because I got sick of writing this exact same block of code over and over with very minorly different stuff. So if we flog this, chuck it at the top, MRB get self, we are a color. Color? How does this work? Oh, and it's color or type with an O, right. Because the actual color object I use is the one from Raylib. I considered creating a alias of it, but I'm like, eh. So Taylor does use the Australian spelling of things, just because I plan to teach this to Australian people and like Australian kids and stuff, and it's just less hassle for them. Right, redefinition of color. So this is going to be the tint. You are going to be the tint. So we load ourselves. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Yeah, okay. Yep, this is, we want color, tint, every time. Return color and MRB color value. Yeah, okay. So I think that's what we need to do to make our tint test pass. Let's find out. What have I done? Oh, I didn't update this. Tint, and this just takes in the actual values. No action function call? Why not? The Raylib header has color tint, takes in 2 colors, returns a color. All right. Oh. No? Hang on. Color here and tint. Oh, they're both, eh? Okay, that takes... Why did that work? I'm just curious about something while I'm here. It's been a minute since I've worked on Taylor, so I'm a little rusty, to be honest. Rectangle might be a better CPP. I'll close that. malloc. Okay. This is in the init method, I think. Yeah, okay, that's always a mess. And I don't malloc anywhere else. That's second. Okay, that makes sense, because I don't actually do anything with that returns a rectangle from the rectangle class. That makes sense. Sorry, what I'm trying to figure out, I'm sort of poorly explaining myself here. We can just close this file. We don't need it. This syntax here is, I think it is what I need to do here. So normally you would just create a new color pointer, right? That's great. C++ is quite nice with that. You don't have to think too hard. Because I'm handing it to embedded Ruby, it's got like a VM where it does its own garbage collection. I kind of have to create it in a way that C++ won't try and clean up after it. So here I just deliberately malloc a chunk of memory the size of a color and return the pointer to that to be used by embedded Ruby. So when it's done with it, it runs the cleanup, and then C++ won't have cleaned up that memory. I got bit by that a couple of times, which was a bit fun. And I have learnt C++ entirely through building Taylor, and it's been... How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this since April 9th, 2021. So over 4 years now. 4.5 odd years. This has been my main learning of C++. I did a little bit when I was like younger, like 17, but I would hardly count that as current knowledge. As that was nearly 20 years ago. It's been a minute. So we have loaded our data object out of the argument. So this MRB get args is like, if I call, color.tint blue, this MRB get args is what parses all of the arguments. As you can sort of get arguments, I've told it has a single data object which will be put into the tint variable and is of a color type. So color type is like an mruby notion about the color struct I have. And it has knowledge about how to clean it up and whatnot. So that's sort of what this is all doing. Like part of me wanting to do this series as well and like doing Taylor specific information is there's very little about how to use embedded Ruby. I've had to read so much of the mruby source code to be able to understand how stuff works and how to get it out. And there's some decent documentation. There's a whole lot of holes though. I'm not good at writing documentation, so I figured why not? I will just plod along. People can watch these and hopefully pick some up. Because it's really not that bad once you get your head around like the few notions you need, like handing things to and from. Once you've got that sort of sorted, you're pretty good. Yeah, so if we run this again. Fingers, run this again. Expected 9 got 0. Dark new color is a result of the tint. Why did we not get that? Oh no, this is potentially... Have I passed in nonsense? I'm a little confused by the call to this. Because I have pointers, and I think I've passed a pointer to a pointer rather than the actual object. That's why I was trying to dereference with ampersand, but it's like, nah, bruh. But it believes that there is a... Because yeah, color is a pointer. No, color is the actual object. But I didn't... Yep. I'm not quite sure. It'll come to me. Like, if I'm wrong, the tests and stuff will highlight it, which is kind of why I'm surprised we got 9 to equal 0. Which kind of leads me to believe my mock isn't doing what I expect. Like, if we go up here, expect 9 to equal 0. So result is the result of the tint. So if we just p at result dot 2h. Oh, that's the wrong shortcut, Sean. There we go. Yeah, so it's coming out of 0, 0, 0, 0. That is very suspicious. Oh, I know what this is. No, I can return colors. That's why I have like the mock color return and stuff. Because yeah, it is returning it. I am getting a color back. Why is it all zeros though? This is... What is this? This is parse argument, setup source. Yeah, so if we... I have to actually go and open this file manually because it's git ignored. Get out of the way, mouse. Oh gosh, where does it even end up going? Raylib.h? Source raylib.cpp. Yeah, here we go. So there should be a color tint method in here now. There is. Why does it have a weird line through it? What? Okay, I do ignore diagnostics here. Just this file isn't committed. It's only ever used on tests. I don't care about its formatting. I've literally never seen Vim put a line through a thing like this. This is confusing me and it's quite weird. I don't know what the hell's going on. That's an interesting question. Is it logging the thing? See, mocked call for color tint. Yeah, because if we go look at the Wait, I was in source raylib. I wasn't. Yes, I was. Wait, what is this? This is mocked call for. Oh, right. This is in Taylor Raylib CPP. Yeah, here we go. Mocked call for. Yep, string method double result float int color. Here we go. Yeah, if mock.found, parse and send it back. Yeah, okay. So I had to create like one of these methods for each of the things. I probably could have used a well, I deliberately didn't use a macro because the bodies are quite different. And yeah, bugger writing that macro and understanding it in the future. So we get the result. It's probably just not finding the mock. I've probably just done that wrong. Let's go look at the test again. Mock call. Ah, there we go. That's all it was because it's the American spelling. Oops. There we go. Now it should get further. There we go. So we're not raising the errors, which is good. But got type error. I think this error is pretty ugly. I don't think I can even actually handle it myself. So I think the test is fine. I think we just make sure it returns a type error, which I'm a little annoyed by this because I'm essentially testing mruby implementation instead of my own code stuff. Yeah, okay, that actually gives me an excellent error message. Woof. So let's not do that. So we know that it works. Not because of anything like that, but because that's how mruby works. If that stopped working suddenly, the mruby test suite would explode, which I do know exists, and that is a real thing. Raylib doesn't have a test suite. Basically, they just check that their examples compile, and sometimes people run them, and I'm like, terrifying. I've built my empire on this house of cards. I've been prattling on a lot. Where does my test get up to now? No method error. Cool. So this is the other fun thing. So I magically translate these Ruby classes into C++. Well, yeah, into C++ files that just have Ruby. So if we look here, we'll see that there's like a color CPP here, which is just the contents of this file. So these are get ignored. These are programmatically generated. It was just kind of an... I now know that I could do this a completely different way, and maybe I will do that one day, but for right now, I don't really care. So if we look for fade bang, yeah, here. So this is what I've done. I've even used .tap. Look how fancy I am. So we're going to change this into... let's do this properly. So tint, bang, color. Oh, tint. So this tints with the... Let's do this. I think that's nicer. No, now we're shadowing this. Ah. What's... I'm trying to think what the good variable name here is. So you will note I'm not doing something like self equals the result of this. I don't even know if that would work. What I do is I get the result and I just iterate over the result with the, not iterate over, I tap into it and then just use it to set up the red, green and blue on the parent, the self color object. And that works quite well, but there might be better ways to do this. I'm not completely convinced. Okay, what am I doing? Why is this bad? So we have the... Gosh, because it was called alpha. I really want to call it like tint color, but... So what I don't like here is I have color, then I call tint with the color, which is fine. But then I have this inner variable, and let's call it result. That works. That clears up the issue I was having. Cool. So, and now we do our YAR documentation. color return. So it does actually return the color as well. That is true. We won't mention the rays. Tints the color of it. Tints the color with the passed in color. Basic usage equals if we do blue. Why did I call it faded blue? Let's just do blue. It's like semi-transparent. And if we do blue dot fade bang color green, I don't actually know what this will come back as. Let's figure that out. So I have this little dump folder where I do stuff. So this is get ignored. I just chuck all of my random ad hoc scripts in here. So if we just do, let's just straight up flog the code and see what we get. Yep, and if we do Taylor dump tint, and we want, sorry, Taylor dev is a little script I have that wraps up. Oh, I haven't actually run this. Yep, and the whole game engine compiles in under 3 seconds on my machine, so it's nice and quick. What did I do wrong? Oh, it still says fade. Okay, so we need to fix that here as well. Oh, I didn't save it. That would do it. There we go. I don't love that. Let's 128, 128, 128, 255. We'll call this gray. Gray dot tint green. Wait, hang on. What did that come back as? Oh, so I had a green color set up. So faded. Faded. Okay, I have completely the wrong values here. Okay, Sean, geez. Yeah, because that just fades the alpha. So that's 0. This is 255. And I don't beat myself up about these issues. They're going to happen. I just do my best to make it better as I go. That's all you can ever do. Alrighty. We got some much nicer colors here. Yep. So that's what we get with this code. Oh, hang on. Just log that back. BF thing, paste, shift. There we go. Take that back, put it back in here. And there we go. Bonk, 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 bonk. There we go. So now we have an actual example that we know works and is all happy. There we go. And we also, because we added a C++ Ruby method, right? We also need to document that. But you're thinking, I didn't see any documents in any documentation in color.cpp, right? Just starts with order, right? Self-documenting code is great and all, but it's not discoverable for a framework. I actually have this MRB doc folder, which is just a bunch of fake Ruby files that aren't loaded. They're just used for generating documentation. So if I look at my thing, I flog this again. What does my example look like? So what do? We get faded blue. Oh yeah, because we call fader blue on the color blue, and then we puts the color blue to prove that it wasn't faded. I think we can do something simpler here. So if we do, what do I want to do here? We do gray.tint color green. We'll keep that. I think that's nice. We do, let's do a nice blue gray, right? That's a color people will use. Blue gray equals. Wait, hang on. Okay, it is E. So I've been doing the wrong gray. There we go. That'll be wrong here as well. There we go. There we go. And I closed my dump file because I thought I was done with it. But if we open it back up, we just flog this code again. Oh. P blue gray. There we go. This is what I want. There we go. What are the actual outputs we get? We get this stuff. Which doesn't match up with what we have at all. No. That's fine. That's kind of what we expected. And this obviously does match because this is just the same color. Cool. So we only need to change this line. And yeah, okay. Like so. There we go. So we've got our documentation, we've got our tests, we've implemented our new method. We still need to do yield changelog. We add color, tint, and color, tint, bang. There we go. So that's pretty good. I actually haven't run all my tests yet, have I? RT. Yep. Bin test formatting. Do I not have like a test formatting all? Okay. Test formatting CPP. It's very mad at me. Fix formatting CPP. Test formatting Ruby. So I just have a bunch of scripts for like checking all of this stuff so I don't have to remember commands, and it's still really mad at me. Color fade is defined in 2 places? Hang on, what? Oh, oops, not in Tmux, Sean. Tint, CIB. Color. Your color set. But yeah, goodness, I missed all of this. What's going wrong? I also didn't save a bunch of my files. What? Disappointed in myself. What the heck? How could I be so sloppy? Didn't even finish updating this. Jesus. Turns tinted version of. Yep, I think that makes sense. Alright, we're gonna cross our T's and dot our I's. I forgot to do this. Make a branch. I'm trying to be good about actually doing pull requests even if it's on my own project. Git add -p. So we have our change log. I think this is wrong. Yeah, because so all of my formatting on the CI server happens on Debian or Ubuntu, I think. Yeah. Whereas Fedora has much more up-to-date Clang format tooling. So it does things differently. That one I do expect. Oh, we haven't gone through and updated the file as well. So we'll do that in a second. Yep. Tints the color with the passed in color. Yep. Let's tint bang. Yep. We've done our tests. My tests all pass, right? Yeah, I think I ran that a second ago. Yeah. Cool. Git status. There's no new files, is there? No. So if I do a dxexec bin fix formatting CPP, I should get different results. Yeah, you see it's undone that file change now. The helpers HPPP has been reverted. That's interesting. That's something I forgot. This dxexec thing as well. This is... I still have mixed emotions on this. It's a topic for its whole own video, but essentially it's a Docker container for this project, like the development environment. It's useful for stuff like, you know, keeping versions in sync and whatnot, for tooling that doesn't work through ASDF, but it's a very heavy-handed approach. But it would mean I can do this on Windows, although building this Docker image on OS X has, I think, failed. It doesn't work. Docker is not quite as universal as I'll have you believe. At least not without some legwork. So what have we done? We've added the color tint. That's all good. So we'll git commit this because we've done the change log. We've done our documentation. Oh, hang on. If we do bin, was it test documentation? Cool. It has found all the files and that they are indeed, oh, it's bin pretty is what I have. I might do, just for a laugh, test Windows. So this builds it. Oh, I don't have Wine installed. That's fine. dxexec bin test Windows does work because it does have Wine. So you can see where this Docker stuff does come in handy. So it's just built it using MingW and then ran it through Wine. And you can see that the output does not handle my little check marks that nicely, but it does work and it does give me what I want to know. It's just quite funny. Yeah, so I think we can git commit this and then added color tint and color tint bang. But that's not all. We are going to go to CPP and we're just going to fix up this file to just be nicer. So initialize is the special case. Fade is the only other thing here. Okay. So we are going to do that. We can delete that and that. Alpha comes in as a float. We raise an error if it's outside of the range. We do our standard thing and we return. Okay, cool. I think that's actually the only thing I needed to fix up there. Let's have a look at vector CPP. Just... okay. I did fancy something up for initialize, but I am using it here. Okay, that's good. That's good. I don't need to worry about that then. So that was the only change then. So we can do this. We can get commit -- amend because that's small enough we can cheekily slot that in. I'm not too fussed by that. And then we can just get push origin -- set upstream add color tint. It's been a while since I've worked with branches. Yeah, there we go. And now there is a pull request waiting for me on GitHub. Words are failing me. Let's show my intro again. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting. I plan to do some more of these, probably more Taylor work, Ruby stuff, game dev, all those sorts of bits and bobs. Just something chill to watch, something to relax with, and hopefully pick up some knowledge. I try to do test-driven development. I try to be very fastidious with Taylor in particular because it's a project I'm taking very seriously. And yeah, I've been working on it for 4.5 years. It's obviously a project that's going to stick with me for a while. And it's got some very interesting parts to it. And it's got some interesting tech debt, which I may try tackling. But yeah, I'll try to keep videos not crazily long. This one's 45 odd minutes, so yeah, pretty reasonable. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, let us know down below if you think this is interesting, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Where's my mouse gone?